Oh my god, what is up? But you guessed it. Hi everyone, it is I, Shantu Teg. Welcome. If you are new here, welcome. If you are not new here, welcome. And oh my god, I have a Herkimer diamond. So gorgeous. So I'm holding that. And today we're going to talk about being wrong. What is so wrong with being wrong? Okay? This is a big one. That's what she said. This comes around the mountain quite often in sessions with clients. It's also been a big part of my history. What's so wrong with being wrong? Cheers, y'all. If you know, you know I love a good cheers moment, so cheers. This is coffee, organic coffee, organic. What is so wrong with being wrong? Have a little moment here. Take a deep breath if it's available to you. Sit up nice and tall and just do a little self-psychology mom and kind of, come face to face here with like what your relationship is with being wrong. Do you tense? Does the throat and belly like immediately tense? Maybe the body heats up. Maybe you're like 100% dialed and okay with being wrong, being inaccurate, or even being like a newbie. That's a big one that's associated kind of like in the same family with being wrong. All right, so what comes up for you? Okay. We're gonna split her down the middle. That's what she said. All right. The shit show of having an issue with being wrong, and then the beauty of being okay with being wrong. Okay. So let's break down the yuck first. All right. So, oftentimes, and this could be you. It's definitely been me before in the past, and I definitely work with clients around this particular piece as well. Defense comes up. Let's say you believed something to be true, or you did something and it just missed the mark. You were inaccurate, right? And then that inaccuracy is presented to you, just gets pointed out by whatever, whether it's the result of the thing that you were doing, or maybe someone pointed it out for you, or, somehow the information came to light that you missed the mark. You were inaccurate. Now, when you have a shitty relationship with being inaccurate, the defense immediately pops in, all right? Defensiveness. What happens when the system becomes defensive? We got high levels of stress hormones, cortisol, coursing through the system. Okay. We also have mental block, right? You could also kind of like call that, oftentimes people see red, right? Just like, like this one pointed or complete disassociation, however that kind of shows up or plays out for you. The mental faculties and the physical faculties just completely become off balance. Okay. So that's the defensiveness. Then we also have delusion, right? When we have a shitty relationship with being inaccurate, delusion, and just fighting and arguing, even when it's clear as fucking day that you missed the mark with inaccuracy, you will fight to the death to prove that you are actually right. That is delusion. So you're championing for your own delusion, and you're championing for those around you's delusion. Nailed it. Yeah, and that's a whole lot of mental fuckery, mental manipulation towards yourself and towards others. And that is fucked, okay? That's not gonna get you anywhere beneficial. What it does get you is mental illness, all right? A lot of mental illness, or what we could call different areas and activations or neural pathways that are not beneficial, get highlighted in the brain, tangled wires, so to speak. All right. So when we're caught in delusion because we're so, I have to prove that I was right, even though it's clear that I wasn't, just because I can't handle being wrong, because when I was a child, blah, 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 whatever the fuck. Okay. And then from there, thank you. From there, we have kind of like this long-term commitment to being crotchety, angry. I'm going to prove to everyone through everything that I do that I'm accurate all of the time. Hello, That doesn't happen for anyone. Why? Because we live on polarity planet Earth, which means there's always going to be a positive and negative. What goes up must come down. Whatever the fuck, okay? With everything that, the us light workers, if that's what you want to call those of us that are kind of in the healing arts scene, we're just striving to achieve balance as often as possible. You will not achieve balance all the time. Why? Because that's not what we're here to do. We're here to experience contrast. All right. All right, Frank, can you stop biting my notes? Thanks. That would be great. We have this lingering undertone of anger that then becomes the filter in which you are broadcasting and receiving life through. All right, how do you think life's going to look like for you? How do you think those circumstances are going to be playing out? A matched frequency to that lens of anger. Okay. And then from there, we're looking at physical disease, physical dis-ease. Why? Well, here's the thing. Everything in life unfolds for us in accordance to how we are focused. How we are focused will then dictate the neuron velocity in which our brain functionality is operating from. From there, that sends a signals to the water content and cellular structure of our entire being. And then from there, we broadcast a frequency that then calls in a match to said frequency, which then unfolds as life circumstance. So, if the cells are receiving messages saying, this shit sucks, we're filtering everything, including the nourishment we ingest through that filter of anger, because we're so fucking focused on proving that we are correct, even though all the evidence is stating otherwise. The cells are receiving the message that disease is the way to go. All right. It's the opposite of thriving, the opposite of yes. Everything is saying no. And so the cells follow suit, which means that physical disease will begin to set in. A decline, the death of the cell will set in and you'll experience disease. Okay. Now, disease can look like all kinds of stuff. It could look like arthritis. It could look like migraines. It could look like cancer. It could look like anything. Now, side note, this is not medical advice. This is just an educational whammer jammer. Take it or motherfucking leave it. That is up to you, and you alone. Take responsibility for your own experience. If you do not like what I got going on, go somewhere else. There's literally a bazillion other YouTubers. Go find them. Okay. All right. So another disease that oftentimes is directly related to having a shitty relationship with being inaccurate or being wrong is addiction. I'm just going to dampen that noise because it's going to eat away at you, okay? The reality of the inaccuracy will eat and chip away. And that's a beautiful thing. We want it to. Why? Because we're not interested in living in delusion. Not really. Okay. However, when there's this shitty relationship with being wrong on board, addiction to certain things, activities, substances will oftentimes set in to dampen the noise and to act as avoidance, distraction, whatever the case is, okay? All right, so I feel like that particular piece is clear. That's the shit show of having a real terrible relationship with being wrong or inaccurate. Now let's talk about the beauty of having a wonderful and healthy relationship with being wrong, okay? I enjoy being wrong. I like being inaccurate. Why? Because it gives me an opportunity to let my guard down and fucking learn something. It's a growth experience. It literally is what is required in order to kind of like shed the old skin and come into the new. All right, so I love it. I haven't always loved it. I had to really kind of like, it's kind of like you practice some desensitization, experiments with this. And what I mean by that is just like living life, right? Being okay with being uncomfortable. Like, yeah, that's uncomfortable, but hey, we don't grow when we're comfortable. We literally grow when we're uncomfortable, right? Comfort is where growth and creativity go to die, all right? So knowing that, I was able to really step up and put myself through situations and where, I would show up full well not knowing that I wasn't a master in something and going like, hey, I might get this wrong, I'm gonna do it anyways, or hey, I don't know, I'm new. All right, so when you have a beautiful relationship with being wrong, you get to learn. You get to learn. And when we learn, we grow. And when we are growing, we are directly contributing to the evolutionary process on a soul level. And you are going to impact 7 generations, both forwards and back and beyond. And that's a whole other unpack, but I love that. I love that teaching. That's a yogic teaching, impacting those 7 generations forward and back. This is really one of those kind of avenues in which we can really make a huge impact, where we can just drop the defense. So that's the next one. Drop your defense. When you can drop the defense and go like, wow, yeah, I shit the bed there, or yeah, I did get that wrong, or yeah, fuck yeah, I don't know, I'm new, I'm new, right? When we drop our defense, our heart opens up. Now, here's the thing. Everything is related. So if you're in a space where you're wanting to call in any type of prosperity or any type of abundance, right? Whether it's money, love, romance, whatever the case is, it's all related, and it all directly comes from the heart. Oftentimes I talk about heart over head, letting the heart guide the way. If you have a beautiful relationship with letting your defense down and being okay with being inaccurate or being wrong, then the heart begins to open and shine and really guide the way in life. And that is a beautiful thing, because from that, what we get is the purest, highest vibrational frequency, which is love. Wait, I'm kind of redundant there with that one, but it's there's nothing higher than love. The highest frequency is love. That is creative life force, is love. And from that, honesty. Yeah? Honesty, love, honesty, they go hand in hand. And when, it requires an open heart and a complete drop of the defenses in order to really attain pure honesty and pure love. And when that's the frequency from which you're vibrating, that love and honesty space, and then the neuron velocity then starts to get zippier and faster. When you're able to vibrate from that space of love and honesty, all of a sudden everything about you, including where you're receiving your thought form from, is happening at a higher frequency. Why? Because you have more energy. Why? Because your defenses is down and your heart is open. All right. And then from there, the signal that gets sent to the cells on a biological level is we're healthy, we're thriving, we're radiant, we're youthful. Yes, yes, yes. All right. That is how we do it. What else is here on this high vibe list of, having a healthy relationship with being inaccurate? Oh, here's a big one. I'm currently writing an article about emotional intelligence, and legacy typically always sneaks in there whenever I'm writing or getting interviewed. And I wanted to bring it up here. So leading by example is one of the ways we can really etch out an imprint that will outlast our death. And when you can lead by example, especially in this category, being okay with being inaccurate, dropping your defenses, going like, you know what, I missed the fucking mark. How can I make the mark next time? What is here for me to learn? How can I improve? How can I better myself? How can I keep up and be the best version? When you can let that shine in a way that other people can see it, that impact is literally next level. That is how we lead by example. It's not sage on the stage. It's like, how is this person living their actual life? and then setting the example. And it's one of the reasons why I like to make these videos, and it's one of the reasons why I like to do the vlog thing, because, you know, am I having these conversations all day, every day in my life? No, but I am fueling most of my actions through the philosophies that I live by, especially on a professional level, and then I take that into my personal life. All right, so leading by example is one of, if you ever think, you know, I literally have these conversations with myself all the time, and I bring this into my session work with people. Is like, you know, if you were to die today, what would your deathbed experience be like? Literally. Are you proud of yourself? Did you do your best? Or is it going to be like, ah, fuck, right? Now, chances are, especially if this is the first time you're ever thinking about that, it might be like, oh, fuck, this is a lot, right? Like, fuck, no, I'm scared. I'm shying away. I don't want to admit that I was wrong. Oh, right? When you can begin to really drop the defense. And that's a wonderful starting place. And I am not suggesting that it's easy, but let's say you have something in your life right now where you know damn fucking well that you were inaccurate, or maybe you allowed the wool to be pulled over your eyes and you have then seen the light, but pretend to not see the light and allow the wool to still remain over your eyes, kind of like by pretend. All right. You don't necessarily need to announce it to anybody. You need to broadcast it on social media, but you can start to admit it to yourself in a way that sounds like, all right, I was wrong and that's okay. I was wrong and that's okay. I was wrong and that's okay. That's the mantra. I was wrong and that's okay. It's not, I was wrong, that's not okay, right? The thing that's not okay in the long run is pretending that you're correct, okay? But when you can admit the fact that you missed the mark and then pair it with, that's okay, then you're having a real open-hearted human experience, because guess what? That's literally why we're incarnated. That's why we're here. To learn, to grow, to get it fucking wrong, and then do our best. Yeah? All right, so can we have a cheersies? B Squad, that is what I wanted to cover today. Why? Because it's a heavy freaking hitter right now, and the energy is thick. She is thick right now, okay? People are losing their goddamn minds, and so many are holding on to this fucking bullshit that, like, I don't want to admit that I was wrong, so I'm going to do whatever I can to prove that I was right, even though it's very, very clear that I'm living in delusion, and I want to invite you to live in delusion with me, all right? So no, that's not how we call in the golden age, okay? We call in the next era, the Aquarian age, by this. And if you want more, go watch my other videos. This is solid gold shit. This is all the stuff that I review with my clients. I only get so far in these videos. I want to like dip the toe, so to speak, because it really takes one-on-one stuff to kind of like get into like the of it all. But, you know, I wanted to make these videos for people to be able to like check in anytime they want, to get a resource, to get a helpful tool anytime that they want. So I hope that this lands well with you. Please pop it in the comments what comes up, what you might notice. And, you know, again, this is not medical advice. However, I am sending you all so much friggin' love. I appreciate the shit out of the B Squad, all right? I hope you all are doing well. And I hope this lands in a way that is like eye-opening and making a beneficial impact, all right? Because is it easy to hear? No. Is it beneficial? Fuck yeah, dude. And that's why we're here. Let's be the best version that we can possibly be together. Yeah? Fuck yeah. All right. Sign on.